Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 28 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the final race of the Northeastern Swing, the New England 400 at Boston International Speedway, as we're getting set for 60 laps of racing here at this little over 1 mile track. Now, after our previous race at Watkins Glen, the championship battle got even more heated. First time this season we have a tie for the points lead. Jay Jefferson and Kyle Matthews both lead by 25 points over James Qualls, 50 over Michael Norman, 55 over Riley Henry, 60 over Charles Belding, 70 over Laney Marino, 105 over Jordan Forbes, 110 over our previous winner Lisa Nelson, and 160 over Dylan Poteet, but still plenty of time for drivers that are just on the outside of the top 10 looking to get into the hunt to manage to find their way into the championship. And speaking of some of those guys, let's take a look at the top 10 in the lineup for today. Jesse Turner getting his first pole of the season with Jordan Forbes starting next to him in second. Row 2, we have Lisa Nelson, Scott Groverston. Row 3, Dylan Poteet, Dylan Jacobs. Row 4, Daniel DK, Cole Deaver. And then row 5, Carson Gum and Lindsey Snyder. Let's get the command to fire engines for the New England 400 at Boston.
Drivers, start your engines.
All 40 drivers got their engines revved and they're coming out of pit road for the pace lap. So Jesse Turner was so close to winning in his home state back at Watkins Glen this past Friday, but just came up second to the driver right behind him, Lisa Nelson, teammates out of Average Joe Enterprises. So we're going to see if perhaps Jesse Turner can close the deal here today, but a lot of drivers up here in this top 10 that really are hungry for a win or another in hopes of getting into the championship hunt or to try and end their season or careers in a couple drivers' perspectives on a high note. Pace car into pit road, so ladies and gentlemen, it is time to boogity 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 go racing. Jesse Turner just barely led the first lap, but now teammate Lisa Nelson going to go to the point, as Lisa Nelson looking to go for second straight win, third overall, not only of the season, but in her career. And you want to talk about a driver who's been kind of having an up and down season. There have been times where Lisa was out of the top 15 in points. Sometimes she'd be top 10. She just really bounces in and out of being great on the track to being kind of irrelevant on the track at times. But lately, she's been stepping up her game and is currently 9th in the standings, only 110 behind the points lead. So a little over a half a race worth of points that she can score in hopes of getting closer and closer to that championship foray. Speaking of drivers looking to get into the championship foray, 10th in points, Dylan Poteet looking to go underneath and get second from Jesse Turner. Poteet 160 behind in standings, although that top side suddenly just surged ahead out of nowhere, as Turner's going to hang on to second as Jordan Forbes in that 39 trying to get past on the top side to stay in third and maybe even go for second, as he's now trying to get on the outside. He is there to the outside of Jesse Turner, trying to take second away, although this time the bottom lane definitely kicked in a little bit better. So it's basically all about who's going to be giving or taking in either lane here on the racetrack to really determine how we're going to see drivers making passes. But Lisa Nelson led every lap so far except for the first lap, but she hasn't been able to pull away. Everybody is right there on her tail. She's just taking advantage of drivers trying to utilize both lanes, and in some cases doesn't work. Meanwhile, still side by side for third between Poteet and Forbes, as Turner was looking to go to the inside of Lisa, but I think he went a little bit too low on the track, and it ended up forcing him to have to let off the gas just a little bit to give some breathing room to the 6 car. And as a result, he lost just a little bit of time on that lap. But now he's looking to try it again here into turn 1. But again, the top side able to carry just a little bit more speed, as the 17 still just kind of hanging out right there. And whoa, I saw a little bump. Charles Sanford is coming up through the field, as he kind of gave a bit of a shove to Daniel DK, and now he's going to try and go to the inside to make the pass, and that would be for the 5th spot. Meanwhile, Jordan Forbes' car is starting to come alive, as he's now finally gotten past Jesse Turner for 2nd, and now he can set his sights on the 6 car to try and get the lead for himself and go for win number 3 this season. Because like I said, that Shadow Cold Racing team has just been the dominant team this season. Jay Jefferson currently tied for the points lead with a victory. Riley Henry with a win. Jordan Forbes with 2. Dylan Jacobs with 1. Scott Groverston with 2. And Lindsey Snyder with 2. And now Forbes got a huge run on the inside of the 6. Didn't quite get to lead that lap there, but he is there to the bottom. Can he make the pass here in 1 and 2? Let's go to helicopter view and watch this battle from above. Also, Charles Sanford's into the picture as well, and Daniel DK trying to rebound and get back up there. A lot of drivers up here in contention right now. Although Lisa Nelson just able to utilize that, not really the top side, but more of the middle groove, like that dark, the rubber that's been placed on the track. She's just able to utilize it a little bit better. But even at that, it's not been an advantage for her, as she is just, like I said, not been able to get away from everybody behind her. And whoa, Forbes almost turned the 6 trying to get in line behind her, and so he decided to go to the bottom to try and lay off and avoid causing a big incident that could have occurred. But it is once again side by side between the 6 and the 39, although again the 39 kind of let off the gas a little bit in the corner entry, but able to get back into the gas a little bit better in the center of the corner, but still lost a bit of time. And now Charles Sanford to the outside to try and get 2nd away. A couple other drivers we haven't talked about for a while. Jonathan Zorling's now worked his way up through the field, up to the 5th spot now. Scott Groverston, who's been quietly hanging in between 4th and 6th for the majority of the start of this race, as he's just maybe trying to buy his time a little bit. Rafael Fireblade's come up out of nowhere. He's now up here into the top 10, currently now 7th, as he's going to go past Jesse Turner, and we got a new leader now, Charles Sanford, with a big head of steam. But look at that run Lisa Nelson was able to try and project in corner entry in turn 3, but ended up costing her a little bit, and now Charles Sanford takes over and gets those 5 valuable bonus points. As Forbes and Nelson continue to go at it side by side. And who knows, this may benefit Charles Sanford and start having Sanford to pull away from everybody, but I don't know, it's going to be tough. Daniel DK kind of just awaiting in the wings, so to speak, waiting to see what the top 3 is going to do, and then he can take advantage and try and go past everybody. Although Jonathan Zorling trying to utilize the bottom to make a move past DK. We'll see if it pays off for him. Although DK caught a big run in corner entry, but again in the center and then off of exit, the bottom lane was able to carry on a little bit extra momentum. But DK trying to hang on the top side. But back up at the front, Charles Sanford currently leading the way here at Boston, as Lisa Nelson kind of just hanging out behind him maybe plotting her next move to try and get back up there. But the top two is starting to break away from everybody. As Jordan Forbes, I think he has used up pretty much everything he's had. And now he's going to try and run the top side, see if he can conserve tires. But Jonathan Zorline trying to go past more cars in hopes that he could run down the top two. Although he really lost a lot of momentum as Forbes using the top side, and I guess it's going to benefit him a little bit because it's using less of his tires. So he's going to hang on to third for the time being. As Rafael Fireblade now into the top 5. As Daniel DK, maybe he started to use up everything he's had. As Scott Roverson looking to try and get back to the 6th spot. Meanwhile, and then you got Poti Turner and Lauren Marino to complete the top 10. And then we got this little battle on for 11th between Laney Marino and Rafael Leduc. Leduc to the inside, but not able to carry as much momentum as Laney did off the top side, even though they're relatively even side by side. Although that time, Laney Marino able to carry way more speed and keep the spot. But back up at the front, Charles Sanford is starting to pull away from second place, Lisa Nelson. But you got to keep this in mind. If we stay clean and green the whole way through, you got to wonder about green flag pit stops. When will drivers have to come into the pits for tires and gas? If they can make it past the halfway point, green, and come into pit road after that, it will be a one-stop race. Although, we'll see how it all plays out. Now, as a result of Charles Sanford pulling away from everybody, now Lisa Nelson started to... it may turn into a two-stop race now, because here comes a couple of drivers in the top 10 and others in the pit road. Lisa Nelson being the first one to pull down to pit road. So it looks like it'll be 23 to 25 lap pit window, so guaranteed two-stop race regardless of what the outcome is. And now here comes Charles Sanford to sacrifice the lead to come to pit road, and the one who's going to capitalize at the moment is going to be Laney Marino into 34 as she takes the top spot over. And I think we're under caution. Or at least I think we are. I don't see the pace car anywhere. Well, or maybe not, but I did see some damage or some debris on the track, but I guess we may not be under caution. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I thought the caution was out because I don't see... Okay, yeah, there's the pace car, so never mind. We are still clean and green here at Boston. Charles Sanford comes out of the pits first of the second group, but can he beat out Lisa Nelson? Looks like he might just barely, although the 6 got a lot more speed coming up through the top side, so... And Lisa with a little bit warmer tires might be able to capitalize on that, but let's take a look and see where the 34 is. Yeah, she easily gets past. But Charles Sanford looks like he will cycle back around to the top spot, but Lisa Nelson right there, literally on his back bumper for a whole straightaway right there. And she's got, while one lap less in terms of freshness and tires, they are a little bit warmer than the 03. So she's able to use more grip in those tires, whereas the 03 is still trying to get them fully warmed up. And now the 6 trying to go to the bottom, although the 03 of Sanford kind of shut the door on the 6. Couldn't quite make the move stick. Side by side as the 6 was able to utilize the bottom. Can she make the pass off of turn 4 is the question. Both drivers running relatively even in center of the corner and then corner exit. But Sanford's still hanging on for now. But Lisa Nelson, actually, it looks like she's better in 1 and 2. But Charles better in 3 and 4. And he was able to carry way more speed in the corner entry right there. So that actually helped the 03 maintain the top spot for the time being. But we're going to try and do our best to do a full field rundown now that we've gotten the first round of pit stops concluded. Let's see how everybody runs. So Charles Sanford is currently your leader. Second is Lisa Nelson. Third is Jordan Forbes. Fourth, Charles Belding. Fifth is... Or no, Charles Belding, I think he's a lap down. So never mind. Fourth is Jonathan Zorline. Fifth is Daniel DK. Sixth is Keith Miller Jr. Seventh, Jesse Turner. Eighth, Scott Groverston. Ninth, Raphael Fireblade. 10th, Daniel Voiles. And then we got a big group of cars. 11th, Laney Marino. 12th, Riley Henry. 13th, Ryan Acosta. 14th, Matt McIntyre. 15th, Dylan Poteet. 16th, Rafael Leduc. 17th, Lauren Marino. 18th, Dylan Jacobs. 19th, Jay Jefferson. 20th, Joey Parkhill. 21st is Mitchell Collins. 22nd, Cole Deaver. 23rd, Daniel Bouchard. 24th, Dylan Young. 25th is Artur Castanhat. 26th is Seth Cole. 27th, Alyssa Drayson. 28th is Jessica Sheldon. 29th was Carson Gum. 30th, Matt Haas. Or never mind, Carson's a lap down. 29th, Matt Haas. 30th, Quentin Moore. 31st is Melissa Alexander. 32nd, Kyle Matthews. 33rd, Ricky Karaman. 34th, Henry Sanford. And 35th, James Qualls. Then currently the bottom 5 is William Brock, Michael Norman, and then the 3 lapped cars, Charles Belding, Carson Gum, and Lindsay Snyder suddenly multiple laps down. I'm going to try and look around to see if I can't find her on track. There she is, so she's blended back in with the lead pack. But luckily no other further issues. Meanwhile, these two, Sanford and Nelson, continue to battle it out side by side or front to back for the top spot. And this might actually help for drivers like Jordan Forbes start to reel in the top 2 and make it a bigger battle for the lead. But we are about 10 laps away from the next set. About 10 to 15 laps away from the next set of pit stops. Still side by side between these two. These two just will not stop. They want this win bad. Charles, so he can give himself some momentum heading into Season 11. Lisa Nelson to continue her hot streak and get closer and closer to the championship points lead. But meanwhile, Jordan Forbes has definitely caught the 6 in the 03, and multiple cars are going to catch her as well, so it's going to turn into a possible bigger battle for the top spot on the racetrack. Charles Sanford looking for win number 1 this season, while Lisa Nelson and Jordan Forbes are looking for each of them a 3rd win this season. Although, look at Lindsay Snyder. She's actually really fast. She's trying to get one of her laps back. And man, and Lindsay Snyder had a good run back at Watkins Glen, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if something went wrong mechanically with her car that they had to get fixed, and that's what forced her to multiple laps down. But she is definitely faster than everybody on the track, and now she's about to go past the leader, Charles Sanford, to get one of those laps back. And look at these lap times. Fastest lap so far of the day, 23.7, is Jessica Shelton. And now with Lindsay Snyder trying to pass Charles Sanford, this is actually helping for more drivers to get up here. Keith Miller Jr., who's been on a massive downward spiral as of late, fell all the way back to 25th. 3 wide for the lead. Jordan Forbes to the bottom. Oh man, can they give each other room? Oh man, it's really tight racing, tight close quarters racing between these 3 for the lead. Make that 4, because now Keith Miller Jr. is in the picture for himself. So we have a 4-car dogfight for the lead, and Lisa Nelson using the middle to hang on to the spot at least at the line, but now Jordan Forbes clears everybody, moving the 39 to the top spot. But Keith Miller Jr. is coming up pretty quickly. And also another driver trying to get their lap back is Charles Belding. He's up here, not too far off. But yeah, Lindsay Snyder pulling away from everybody. So now she is just 4 laps down. But side by side for the lead, Forbes and Miller going at it now. So who knows what could happen with this. Keith Miller Jr. was actually able to lead that lap. And he clears the 39. But other contenders trying to get their name up here into the picture. Daniel DK, he just needs to get around the lap car of Charles Belding, and then he can focus his attention on the 3 ahead of him. But it's proven to be tough as we are getting closer to those to the second round of pit stops. As Keith Miller Jr. trying to hold a steady lead over Jordan Forbes, and Keith Miller trying to go for his second win of the season in hopes that this can help turn the tide for his bad luck over the past several races. He was at one point, like 6 races ago, top 5 in points, and now he's fallen all the way back to 25th coming into the race today. Side by side for third between fellow Fords, Lisa Nelson and Daniel DK. Looking around to see if anybody's decided to come to pit road yet, and nobody has for the time being. So probably another few more laps, and then we will see green flag pit stops start up, and we'll see then who can really push the envelope and really go for it. But now Keith Miller Jr. starting to pull away a little bit from Jordan Forbes. As the camera messed up right there, and nobody up here in the front has decided to come to pit road yet. As meanwhile, Daniel DK moves himself up to the 3rd spot. And Keith Miller Jr. still pulling ahead bit by bit over to 39. But as I'm looking around to make sure about drivers when coming into pit road, because so far we haven't had a caution come out, which is somewhat surprising for a racetrack like this, especially when they're 3-wide racing like we saw earlier with Forbes, Nelson, and Sanford. I thought for sure we could have seen a wreck occur. And Lisa Nelson, I think, yeah, she may have used up everything she had during that run. And now she's losing spots. But now it looks like Voiles, Forbes, the first 2. Well, actually, no, Cole Deaver was the first one to make that Jesse Turner as well. That came into pit road. But we're going to see how these pit stops are going to go. Who can get out faster and utilize grippier tires? Keith Miller Jr. leading the big group of cars in the pit road, and only a couple of cars so far staying out. Looked like it was Dylan Young, Seth Cole, and Matt Haas that elected to stay out. I don't know if that strategy is going to work out for them or not, but they're maybe hoping for a quick caution to come out and it screw up the running order and they could maintain where they are right now. But Seth Cole took the lead from Dylan Young right there. But now they are coming into pit road. But what about, yeah, Matt Haas is coming in too. So now I'm looking around to see how things are looking as far as the leaders and such. Looks like it's going to be a similar situation as we saw with Sanford and Nelson. Keith Miller, a little bit slower though than what we saw with Sanford and Nelson earlier, as Jordan Forbes trying to go to the top side, utilizing the slightly warmer tires to try and get past the 15. But the 15 is right there, though. Then Daniel Voiles now in 3rd. He's starting to reel in the top two. As Voiles looking for his first win of the season. DK, depending on how much time we have, he could put himself into the mix as well if he can run how he's running right now and not deal with traffic. Still side by side, Miller and Forbes. And Voiles only a half second back, and then DK about 2 seconds back. If he can try and run better lap times, he could have a chance at getting his second win of the season and of his career. Voiles looking for his first, Forbes looking for his third, Keith looking for his second. 8 laps to go here in the New England 400. As they are still going at it. The 39 and the 15, although the 39 got a much bigger run in 1 and 2 off the top side, and he clears Keith Miller Jr. for the spot, and now Voiles has put his name in his hat in the ring for the battle for the win. DK, I don't know if he might have, well, let's see, he closed the gap by a tenth and a half on that lap. Oh, I thought Voiles was going to maybe try and make it 3 wide, and that could have been crazy, but still side by side between the 39 and the 15 as we're coming to 6 to go. And DK closing in bit by bit, another 2/10 closed in on that lap. I don't know, it's going to be a daunting task either way you slice it for that 66 car, but we're coming to 5 laps to go, and now Jordan Forbes, maybe he's used up everything he's got, as now Daniel Voiles is trying to make it side by side for second. DK managed to close in by a tenth on that lap, but I don't know if it will be enough now unless something really drastic happens up here. 4 laps to go here at the line. Keith Miller Jr. just trying to hold off everybody. Although DK closed in by over a tenth on that lap, maybe it's not quite over for him, but still 1.4 seconds back with less than 4 laps to go. That's a tough task. And Keith Miller Jr. now off by himself, starting to pull away from Voiles and Forbes, so maybe unless those two can catch a big run, I don't see anybody making it past the 15 car now. And lap time wise, the 66 and the 15 ran pretty much identical laps. And we're getting ready to take 2 laps to go here at Boston. Although Voiles suddenly caught a big run in turns 3 and 4, maybe he's got a chance at it still. 2 laps to go as Voiles trying to close the gap. Huge run trying to use the bottom here in turns 1 and 2. Didn't quite stick, but maybe he'll have a chance at it here in 3 and 4. He's really trying to make that run stick. I don't know how much of it he's going to be able to pull, and in fact, he lost some time in 3 and 4. White flag is out here at Boston, and Voiles trying one more time. He got a big run in turn 1. Can he keep the momentum and make the pass? Oh, he's trying. I don't think he's going to be able to make it, though. But he's trying to give it a valiant effort, but I don't think it's going to be enough as the checkered flag is waving. Second time this season, Keith Miller Jr. goes to victory lane. He wins the New England 400 at Boston. Hard-fought fight all race long, but Keith Miller Jr. came out on top and just utilized fresher tires, was able to make moves, and he gets his second win of the season here at Boston. And just a reminder, if you're watching, do not spoil that you won the race. Do not say first in the comments. Just as a warning. And that goes to anybody who watches these races. But I digress. As we take a look at the rest of the results, Daniel Voiles, like I said, he gave it a valiant effort there towards the final couple laps of the race, but still, great run in the second position, easily the best run of the season for himself. Jordan Forbes, one of the best cars of the day, comes through with a top 5 in third. Daniel DK, solid run in 4th. Man, he was catching them really quick. I feel like if we had maybe another 5 or 10 laps, he could have had a chance at it. And then Rafael Fireblade, who we didn't really talk about much today, comes through with a 5th place run. Jay Jefferson looks like he's going to get the sole points lead as he comes through out of nowhere. Started in the back, finishes 6th. Scott Groverson with a great run in 7th. Jesse Turner, solid 8th. Lisa Nelson, who was another one of the best cars all day, finishing 9th. And then Jonathan Zorlane rounding out the top 10. Then there's your top 20, top 30. Bottom 5 for this week were James Qualls, William Brock, Charles Belding, Carson Gum, and Lindsey Snyder. That does it for our coverage here at Boston as Keith Miller Jr. wins. Northeastern Swing is over. Final 8 races of the season. It's part 2 of the Southeastern Swing, and we return on Wednesday to the track that started it all this season, Daytona. But until then, here is Keith's victory burnout and the point standings heading into Daytona, and this is Levi McIntyre signing off.